we are finally back on part 2 of the BMW 4 Series project. As you can see, the pistons and rods are back in. Let's go. We're going to look out for stuff like this when you're building an engine, because every little small thing matters. So let's get cracking and let's get the engine up and running. Even now you can see it's shaking quite badly as well. See what's actually causing the problem. Oh my god, I can see that. One of the adjusters. So it seems like there is a problem. Good luck with that. What's going on, guys? After a long wait of 2 months, we are finally back on part 2 of the BMW 4 Series project. Now, on part 1, if you remember correctly, we had the car diagnosed as a head gasket failure, as it was very clear that the car has overheated at some point. And also, the car had a warning when I bought it from auction saying it's got a fire risk on it. Now, upon starting the car had a lot of smoke coming out from one of the breathers on the rocker cover, and it was running rough and idle, and had an engine management light as well. We also checked the coolant tank and it had compression showing in the coolant, which is not supposed to be the case, and is a clear indication of a head gasket failure. Now, on part 1, we decided to take the engine out and strip it apart, and when we did so, we found that on cylinder 2, the piston had damage on it and it had scratched the bores of cylinder 2. Now, in terms of parts, we needed a few bits and pieces, which I'm going to show you as the video goes. But starting off, we for sure needed piston and rods, as they were burnt out and you cannot reuse those. The cylinder block itself had to go to the machine shop to get a liner put onto number 2 due to the scratches. It was way too deep and it was not, you couldn't just hone it out basically. It needed a thermostat, a water pump, as these things have rubber gaskets in them, and of course when the engine block is really hot, it kind of deteriorates them. And of course, with any overheating issue of a car, you take the cylinder head to the machine shop to get pressure tested for cracks and leaks. And it turned out that this car has overheated so badly that the cylinder head was indeed cracked. So we had to get a replacement cylinder head. Found one on eBay for about £550. So I've got that now, and I think that's it. If anything comes up throughout the video, I'll be showing you that as we go. So let's head to the workshop and let's see where we are with this BMW 4 Series. Got a few cars lined up here for work. Most of them are engine rebuilds. Let's go see what's going on. Here we have the short block assembled back up. If you remember on part 1, on cylinder number 2, which is that one there, had a lot of scratches on it, so we had to go to the machine shop to have a liner put into it. That's all been done and back to us. As you can see, the pistons and rods are back in. We also needed a piston and a rod. I don't know where the old one is, but I'll show you that in a bit, where it was completely burnt out and you're not supposed to reuse it. So yeah, it's pretty much a bare block over here. We're going to assemble it back up. The first thing to do is put the cylinder head gasket on, and then the cylinder head back on, head bolts, and that's going to build up the engine, and then just the ancillaries, and of course the timing chain as well. I try to film as much as I can of the build-up process, and yeah, pretty much after that, put the engine back in the car and get it started. Let's go. So that's the head gasket applied. Just gonna line it up perfectly, and then of course the cylinder head goes directly on top of this, and the head bolts pretty much go through these and lock the head to the cylinder block. Next step is putting these head bolts in and torquing it down to spec. Got 2 in already. Also, I forgot to add this cylinder head. We had to get a new one because that was sent off to the machine shop, as you would if the car's overheated. And it turned out that the cylinder head was cracked, so it was losing pressure, which means we couldn't use the old original one. That's how badly this car overheated. There's a lot more things I'm going to show you as we build the car up for amount of parts that needed changing on this vehicle. I keep saying vehicle, but it's an engine I'm talking about. But yeah, this is a new cylinder head put on the car. The head bolts are on, torqued to spec. And we also noticed, by the way, this is a used head, and we noticed these caps are not in the right places. You can see it says A1, A2, and they were just jumbled up in different places. Look here, it says 1, 3, it's meant to be in order. There's 2 there. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we now have to take these off and reassemble it correctly. We're going to look out for stuff like this when you're building an engine, because every little small thing matters. You might think it doesn't, but when you build the engine up, you realize you made a big mistake and you should take everything back out and strip it again. And that's not something we're going to be doing. So there you have it. What we've now done is rearrange the camshaft, and as you can see, look, now 1, 2, 3, 4, just the way they're supposed to be. So is the caps on this side. Next is assembling the timing chain and timing up the engine correctly. Here you go. This is here the timing tool to ensure accuracy of it. You don't want to be doing timing without tools. Yeah. After this is done, the rocker cover is going to go back on. Obviously, once the timing is timed up, and then we're going to put all the ancillaries back on, like water pump, thermostat, alternator, loads of other stuff to go back on. As you can see, it's a bare block and bare head. So let's get cracking and let's get this engine up and running. There you have it. The timing chain is now put on and timed up correctly. The camshaft caps are just where they're supposed to be, and of course the head bolts are on. Next up, the rocker cover is going to go on, and we're going to finish off with the ancillaries and build the engine back up. It is currently Thursday, 6 p.m, end of working day, bank holiday weekend. We're back on Tuesday to finish this engine back up and put it back into the car. I'm finally looking forward to finishing this project off once and for all. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
3 days later.
So what I wanted to show you was the oil filter housing. Have a look at this. This is where the oil filter goes into. So because the engine overheated, and obviously there was a lot of heat from the coolant loss it had. Let me just show you that as well. If you remember, I found this pipe right there. This is the cause of the overheating in this car. This pipe had broken off and all the coolant pretty much come out of it. And due to that coming out, the engine overheated. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of plastics attached to the cylinder block, such as this one here. It's a new one there. And they have rubber seals on the other side, gaskets. Now, with heat, obviously rubber melts or it deteriorates, shall I say. Now, come down here, we've got the oil filter housing gasket. As you can see inside, the plastic has suffered damage from the overheating. So we now have bought ourselves a brand new one, straight from BMW. We've used the old cooler, put that back on. So this would have brand new gaskets, as you can see. We simply cannot reuse it. And then we've got this breather pipe as well, which is on top of the engine. That's where the smoke was coming out from, if you remember initially in part 1 as well. But there you go, that's the engine right there. Cylinder block, cylinder head, rocker cover, all been put back on. And not too long now, hopefully 3 hours. And next up is the injectors going in. And we should have a complete short block assembled, ready to go. We also needed new injectors. Here's the old one. As you can see, slightly bent. We're stuck in the cylinder head. Got a used one from eBay, £60, fully working and tested. This is the one that's going to be going on. That's the rail, 3 injectors. That makes the 4th one there. How are we doing on this? Just arranging the loom. Got the oil filter housing back on. The oil cooler is on. That's it. 3 hours later, there you have it. Injectors are back on. Ignition coil, spark plugs are in. Fuel rail on. Inlet manifold is on. I think we're about 18 to 90% complete for the engine. Come back tomorrow and literally put the engine back in the car and go for the start. Almost the end of the build. So we have now got the car back in the workshop. Here's an empty engine bay. And here's the engine fully assembled back up. All the ancillaries, wire looms and whatnot back on. And we're now going to put the engine back in the car, may up to the gearbox, and then pretty much go for the start. Let's see how it goes. step one of putting the engine back in. Put the engine on top of the car and carefully align it and slowly lower it down. Straight onto the engine mounts on both sides. That's it. We're next going to put the gearbox. Just got to make sure none of these plastics get caught up and snap in the process of going down. It's very easy to catch things when the engine gets dropped in. We should be alright. There are hundreds of these every day. Alright, as you can see, that's the engine mount and the engine bracket. You need to line up right on top and you get dropped down. Almost in. There you go, engine is now dropped into the car, secured onto the engine mount. As you can see, it needs to get secured by the gearbox mount itself, and that's pretty much it. Next up, we're going to lift the car up, get the gearbox in, mate it up to the engine, and of course the ECU and the final looms are going to get plugged in. And yeah, I don't see much else. We're going to go for the start after that. And hopefully the car runs perfectly fine. Then I can go for the first test drive. But let's start out first and go from there. Missing gearbox. About to go in. Alright, gearbox is now on. We're going to put the last few bolts onto the gearbox to mate it up to the engine, and that's that done. Almost complete. Going to connect the prop shaft back to the box in the back. That's it. A couple of hours to go. We're going to go for the start. So the engine is now in, gearbox is mated up, and all the wires, ancillaries, everything put together. Just hooking the booster up to the battery, and we're going to go for the first start. Okay, let's jump in and let's start the car up. Get the keys, let's jump in and let's go. Alright, haven't been in the car for the last 2 months, but yeah, engine is back in the car now, so all we gotta do is start the car up. Let's see how it goes. Interesting part, yeah? Let's go. There you have it. Engine has just started back up. Now we need to see how the car runs, I guess. So first of all, we've got a PDC failure, which is nothing really. I think I just saw drivetrain fault code. We'll have to look into that further. That could be because a lot of things on the front are still not connected back up. Let's jump out and let's see how the engine's running. It's running a little rough to start off with, I can tell you that for sure. Before I do anything further, what I'm going to do is plug the machine in, wipe up all the fault codes, obviously from before, there'll be plenty of fault codes, and then start the car back up again, and then see what the fault codes are saying. Let's see how it goes. Alright, let's go for a health report. Check for engine codes, because that's the only thing that matters right now. And automatically got, and there you have it, 11 engine codes. Pause that for now. Under voltage, reset. Oh, that's not even the engine, is it? There you go. Combustion misfire 2. So we had that in the beginning. Number 2, power management discharge, MS, valve, solenoid valve, exhaust camshaft jammed. Let's clear these fault codes up and let's see what remains, because that's the only thing that we need to be concerned about right now. Okay, so all the engine codes have now cleared up. I'm gonna start the car back up and then see what remains. That will tell us what we need to address next, if there is anything to address. There you go. Engine, normal. So let's start the car back up again. So the engine is still shaking. So we're gonna have to rescan and see what's actually causing the problem from the engine to shake right now. So you got one engine code. It's only coming up as a hot fume air mass sensor. Short circuit. Yeah, but that wouldn't cause the engine to shake like that. So, I don't know, we're gonna have to look into this a bit further. Give it a little rev. Yeah, it's just shaking or idle. When I rev it, it seems fine. Let's see. Let's step out and have a look at the engine. Let's have a look. We've got a few full codes now. Kept the engine running for a bit longer. Hot fume air mass sensor. That would never cause the engine to shake, even if it was disconnected. You got Vanna solenoid valve, exhaust camshaft is jammed, but you also have open circuit for the same valve. So it could be that one of the wires are left unplugged, which we're gonna have a look at now. 2 and 3 combustion misfires. And again, fuel injection is switched off, which basically means going to safety mode to avoid further damage. So we're gonna have a look at the looms and sensors, see if there's anything unplugged. If not, it could be it just needs a sensor. One of these Vanna solenoid valve sensors, which are located down the back, isn't it? So at the back of the engine, you have two things here, which are called camshaft adjusters. As you saw in the full code, my computer's up there now. Can't really reach that, I'll try and reach it. Vanna solenoid valve, exhaust camshaft jammed, and obviously we got open circuit. So now at the back of the engine, let's have a look. It's not really easy to see from the top, so we come underneath the car. Really can't see nothing. Oh my god, I can see that. I'm gonna try to zoom in. Just 1 second. Now, very bad lighting in there. Basically, right there, it's literally popped out. One of the adjusters has popped out. Oh, it's coming down now. Here we go. This is the problem we're having right now. This here is a camshaft adjuster, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is, hold up for a second. When we were putting the engine on the crane and dropping the engine down, the engine at the back of the firewall touched the adjuster, and they're quite easy to come off. So what happened is it's basically clipped off and popped right out. So that's why you're seeing camshaft with jammed fault codes and obviously open circuit. So we're now gonna have to put that back in, plug it in, start the car up, reset these codes and see how the car runs. I'm confident that the 2 and 3 cylinders misfiring is related to that adjuster itself. So we're gonna have to just see. So we've got the car coming back down again. We're gonna have to refit that camshaft adjuster and see what happens, to be honest. It's all a bit long, but this is part of engine rebuilds and this is part of stripping your engine down. You're gonna get the little complications. Nothing new. So it's a very tight spot at the back there. We're gonna have to put that back in there, plug it back. Let me show the plugs. Where is the plugs? There you go. You got two of them adjusted. One is the intake adjuster, one is the exhaust. And the exhaust one happened to drop out. So anyway, let's plug it back in and see how it goes. Really hoping this car runs fine, and that's the end of it. End of the project, and I can move on to the next one. This one's been a little delayed, 2-3 months, down to the backflow of this workshop. Got loads of stuff going on here. I've got a Range Rover SVR 5-litre supercharged engines out of this one. That's a head gasket failure. It was smoking very badly when it came. And yeah, we're in the process of building that one back up. Audi RS4 for coilovers all round. B7. Love these proper V8 monsters. This is in for coilovers all round. Brake pads, pads and discs. And yeah, here's the coilovers. Here's the rear disc and pads. And that's that car done. Range Rover Velar, engine rebuild. Unreliable cars, very unreliable. Yeah, that's not going to be easy to put back on. You can barely put your hand in there, let alone the adjuster.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. New day today, and we are back on the 4 Series, trying to diagnose what's causing the engine to shake. So we've now basically sorted out the Vaness adjuster at the back, and for the car, it's still shaking. It's got the misfire codes. What we're going to do now is do adaptation on the Valvetronic and see if that sorts the problem up. So let's do that first and see how it goes. Now to do this adaptation, as you can see, the car needs to be at 80 degrees. It's currently at 76 and it's rising up. It's even revving by itself. Strange. So once it gets to 80, it's going to carry out the adaptation by itself, which is pretty much now. Run the engine. So I've been running the adaptation for about 2 minutes 38 seconds now, and as you can see, the progress is 0% overall. For some reason, it is not allowing us to adapt the Valvetronic system. So I got a feeling I know what it is. Let me jump out and have a look. I'll show you guys. So we are on to 3 minutes and 54 seconds at the moment, and as you can see, 0 progress. So if you remember yesterday, the car was running quite poorly, and even now you can see it's shaking quite badly as well. So what we think is wrong with it at the moment is the Valvetronic motor at the front of the car. It is right there. Not moving, yeah? See that in there? That's supposed to be spinning. And that controls the shaft inside, the Valvetronic shaft. So, oh hold on, it says stop and restart the engine to continue the Valvetronic. Let's try that. It might be working, let's see. So what the computer has asked me to do is switch the engine off and switch it back on again. I've done that, and again, time's just going up, but we got no progress, and that is odd. This is supposed to be going up, and it's going, as you can see, it's a minimum 0, maximum 100. Nothing's happening. So I highly doubt this is being adapted correctly. So more than likely, we're gonna have to change that motor and start from there in terms of diagnosing the problem. But I don't think I'll be able to get that done in this video, unfortunately, because it is Friday now, and I hope to get the video posted by Sunday. And if I don't, it's just going to be more weeks of delay on posting this video, part 2. It's been delayed enough already. So yeah, let's just step out and see what we can do. You can hear the exhaust kind of backfiring as well. No progress still, it's the same thing. So I think the best thing to do is order a motor, Valvetronic motor, change that, and then see what happens. To be honest, usually when we build engines and start them up, you don't really have to do that adaptation if everything's working perfectly fine. So it seemed like there is a problem, underlying problem. When we were installing the camshafts, they did look alright, so I don't think it's to do with that. More than likely the motor itself. Time will tell, I guess. I'm just going to show you the motor again. See that in there? That should be spinning right now, and it's not. So unfortunately, that is the end of part 2, because we couldn't box it off because of the Valvetronic motor. We have ordered one now, and it's going to come on Tuesday, I think it is. It is now Friday, and we're going to have to carry on with this project next week, and that will be part 3 of this video. So going back to it, it is the Valvetronic motor we need to order for this car. As you saw when I showed you early on, that wasn't spinning as it should. So we're going to put that back on and then see what happens next. And we should be able to box this car back up. So what can you expect in part 3? We are going to change the motor, do the adaptations, and then start it up. And then start it up again. And hopefully that should be all good to go. So I think I'll see you guys next week. And also, at the end of part 3, I'll also be doing a full cost breakdown of how much I paid for this car, which you guys, some of you guys know when you watch part 1, and then also the breakdown of costs and labor to get this car up and running. And yeah, I'll give you a little profit margin as well, see what it's worth on the market, and wrap the video up. But other than that, I've got a very, very interesting and a huge project coming up on my channel very, very soon. It will be in the next few videos. Look forward to that, because I'm not going to say nothing more. Just look forward to it. This is Nams from Boost Performance. Give me a follow on Instagram. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you guys next time.